This is for those worried about dropping their facades. In need of social and technological approval, where do we lose ourselves, our individuality? When and how do we lose control of our minds to run amok whenever left unattended? If craving external likes and hearts means gaining a sense of belonging, then where's the flesh, the substance to behold? Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about deleting my social media, actually just my Instagram, because I still need Facebook to manage groups and marketplace and whatnot. So I do not have the apps on my phone. So this is pretty much going to be just, we're just going to be talking about deleting my Instagram. And I think this has been a pivotal point in my self-growth. So I wanted to share this. And honestly, one of the best decisions I've ever made. So everything started late summer of 2022 with a nerve-wracking, hard and eye-opening LSD trip. Before we go any further, a little disclaimer here. Please don't take this statement, this video, as an encouragement to undergo any sort of psychedelic healing process unless your own mind and heart are bestowing you to do so. As adults, we are the only ones responsible for making those type of decisions, and it's important that you always use your own discernment and judgment, attaining to your very own needs and personal process. The reason why I describe this experience as nerve-wracking, eye and heart opening is because it brought to my attention the fact that my old coping mechanisms and ways of operating in the world were no longer relevant to the person I wanted to become. I felt a higher self calling and I was not paying attention. My whole environment, including the people I surrounded myself with, felt unsafe, ungrounded, immature, and pretty much fake. 3 pressing questions hit me like a wall of bricks the moment I sat down on my bedroom floor and tried building up the courage to look at myself in the mirror. I ended up heartbroken because what I found was not what I wanted to find. It was not myself. I was staring at a version of a broken, fearful, damaged, needy inner child, and she was screaming for help. Where are my current decisions and lifestyle leading me? How can I start loving, praising, and appreciating myself more? And who am I? Who am I? Who are you? After this tough yet extremely loving and much needed wake-up call, I asked myself a couple more questions. What do you like? What are your values? Who and what truly matters in your life? What type of energy do I show up in? Do I embody? Do I behave and act as the highest version of myself? The spontaneous, loving, highest version of myself? So I remember going through my grid and following that day, which it all felt extremely surreal, of course. And honestly, it all looked like a matrix that is really good at pretending to be alive and thriving, but it's not. It's fake and it's hollow. Somehow, how many people I followed matter. Somehow how many people followed me matter. Somehow the fact that I hadn't posted anything in like 6 months mattered. Because yeah, maybe it was only the reality of my Instagram profile presence that it and all the stuff that it was pushing into my feed, it was not relevant to me anymore. And with this, I'm not saying that you should go ahead and just delete everything altogether. No, I'm just sharing my experience and sharing what letting go of this part of myself represented a rebirth for me. Letting go of this commitment represented a rebirth for me. Maybe I'm not discarding all Instagram content as fake and bullshit. Not at all. Maybe it was just what I was following. And honestly, it was only 7 a.m. in the morning and there was so much going on, like people posting stories and photos, and it was overwhelming. And I had a good laugh because it seemed pointless. It was pointless. I realized that no one cares. Who cares? Who cares about what you're doing, about what you're posting, about what you're pretending to be? That's what made me realize how disconnected, incoherent, and mismatched my outer actions were to the reality I belonged to exist in. This brings us to the second key point that led me to start a very raw, profound healing process. And it was an unrequited love interest that I was highly fixated on at that time. Accepting and embracing the situation for what it was helped me see how little love, affection, and attention I was pouring into myself. Expecting someone else out there to love me the way I needed to love myself. I was disregarding this responsibility that I had towards me and putting it onto someone else. Expectations. Subconsciously looking to fill a very deep and painful feeling of loneliness and vulnerability that I had been carrying for quite some time. Again, I was not being responsible for loving myself. And I say this with all the love and compassion for myself because it wasn't easy. It was hard. It was sad. But we must know that the only way out is through. And all that matters is what we do for ourselves in the end, I feel like. So him and I would send each other photos from time to time, and just seeing him constantly online without engaging in conversation triggered many unresolved wounds around unworthiness, codependency. Again, this incessant thirst for sucking external dopamine. It went on for months, and it was only driving me into a self-pity loop. A lot of learning, but a lot of self-pity. And lastly, I want to emphasize how difficult it was admitting to myself that I am a person with deep emotional needs. Hence, I am also a person that shows up in a present, genuine, loving, and caring way to her interactions. And subconsciously, this is also a pattern I became aware of, actually around the same time. That there's a subconscious part of me that gives I'm a giver. I give and I give. Not because I am expecting anything in return, but because this is just who I am. However, I love it when I receive from an honest, sincere place, genuine. So if I am a nice, caring, and loving friend to you, I honestly expect the same. Like I said, and I'm still working on this pattern because it came to my attention and I was somehow as well putting all the love outside instead of reserving some for myself. This realization also helped me raise my standards when it comes to friendships and people I connect with and people that I want in my life, and vice versa, that I bring something substantious to their lives as well. So setting up energetic boundaries and raising your standards so people can meet you there and you can meet them at the same level or similar kind of energy, because always being conscious about and honoring everyone's different and unique and has something beautiful and to bring to the table. So acknowledging this part of me that was in search of balanced, reciprocal, and genuine interactions brought me to also realize that birthdays are very important for me. I see birthdays as obviously the beginning of a new cycle, an opportunity to start fresh and renew yourself, your life, to reassess your current actions and fine-tune anything that isn't aligned with your personal path so you can stay on track. I celebrate my friend's existence with so much joy and appreciation because we're in each other's lives. We found each other in this existence, and that to me is a very special thing. So again, this abandoned, unsatisfied part of me showed up weeping really hard after a known of my Instagram acquaintances showered me with love and affection on my 28th birthday. Again, I felt disappointed because the external world was not filling my void. Resistance, as well as the fear of pulling the cord, of not being able to stay in touch with my Instagram acquaintances, and how am I just going to disappear like that? How am I going to stay in touch with these people? I had the thought of deleting my Instagram for quite some time, and I left it in the back burner because of this resistance. Because, let's be honest, when there's a will, there's a way. I could stay in touch with people through iMessage, Messenger, email, telepathically and whatnot. I mean, at least in my life, to be honest, telepathy only works with people I share a deep, strong, soulful connection with, not with everyone. Maybe it's the same for you. I don't know. Again, the beauty of connecting to source energy. Sitting down with my disappointment, with the sadness that aroused, feeling like no one cared enough about me the same way I cared about them, and that, yeah, it was sad. It was disappointing because guess what? I was expecting. So sitting down with these feelings, letting them simmer and then leave my body, is what brought me a newfound sense of courage and inner strength. The day after my 28th birthday, I was able to pull the cord. I was finally able to pull the cord. And the fact that only my loving aunts and granny and some of my cousins and obviously my nuclear friends that are my family wished me a happy birthday and the fact that I was able to sit with these feelings of disappointment and sadness and grief. This is how the answer to my previous questions showed up. Who and what truly matters in your life? I didn't need to go out looking for the answer everywhere to the end of the world or just overthink about the answer for ages. It all came when I allowed the lessons to happen. I've been off Instagram for pretty much 5 months now. Yay. It feels good. I have time to do things that truly matter to me. I stopped wasting time and energy into people that don't matter in my life. I stopped feeding a hologram, a shallow, hollow hologram. This meant letting go of the self-imposed prison I boxed myself in for too long. And that we in modern Western society call identity. I released my old, stagnant, outdated, defenseless, needy self, shed my defunct, insipid skin. When you see your social media profile as your personality, your identity, allowing a hologram, an illusion, to fill in the void within, you're becoming an ego puppet. And with this, dismissing your true core essence. Are you ready to shatter and break free from your sense of identity? Because only by doing so, you mobilize the force within, the ones to come out and fight and have fun and live life. And start walking, building your future, the person you came here to be, embracing and stepping into your soul's purpose. How ready are you to undergo a radical transformation? Are your roots ground and sturdy, yet able to sway with the breeze? Wherever it takes you, trusting. Is social media a helpful, optimizing tool in your life? Or do you use it as a distraction from putting in the work you've been avoiding, which is stemming you further and further away from who you really are and what truly matters to you? Or does it take away your internal sense of freedom, your real life intoxicating bliss, peace, contentment, and freedom? These are powerful times, my friends. Pluto just entered Aquarius a couple days ago. And for those of us interested in the language of the sky, Pluto brings transformation in a way of death and rebirth. It brings light into the shadow side of everything it touches. Some people call Pluto a mean planet. Yeah, because it's the ruler of the underworld. But those of us who understand and are able to see with love and honesty those parts of ourselves that are dead and need renewal are the only ones who are going to step into a new reality. Aquarius, the Aquarius archetype, is revolution. It means coming together as a human collective and using technology for our best and highest good. Not to hide, not to distract, or numb ourselves, but use it for the well-being of humanity. This transit, Pluto in Aquarius, is going to be be happening for the next 2 months or so. Then in June it goes back to Capricorn for until at the beginning of 2024. So this next 2 months we're going to get a taste of how the next 20 years will be like. I invite you to reflect on these questions and to step into the beautiful, powerful, conscious human being that you are next time you feel devoured by technology and social media. Infinite love and gratitude, and I see you next time.